The most faithful friend of humans is the dog. But when that dog becomes the greatest enemy of humans, even the government of a developed country like Korea is forced to resign. So, let's see the story of such a terrifying group of dogs. At the beginning of the story, we see several government officials and some people from the National Security Department in a meeting. In this meeting, we learn that a group of terrorists has kept some ordinary people captive for the last 5 months, and now they are demanding a large sum of money as ransom. Right then, Jang Gong-hyun, who was the secretary of the security agency, says before accepting the terrorist demands, we should wait 1 month. The others in the meeting do not agree with him at all. At that moment, Hyun's assistant in charge, Jing Won, tells everyone that these hostages have been there for the past 5 months. And in such a situation, there could be 2 reasons why the terrorists are contacting now. First, they are prolonging the matter to demand more money, and second, maybe all the hostages are already dead. Hearing this, everyone becomes quite disappointed. After the meeting ends, all the officials leave, and we see Hyun and Won together. Here Hyun tells Won, "If I had 2 or 3 people like you around me, I would have already become president." He gives Won an envelope of money and says this is for your daughter, who is going abroad to study. Won at first didn't want to take the money, but Hyun forces him, so Won accepts the envelope. Then in the next scene, we see Won's daughter, Cha King-min, packing her belongings. It looked like she was very angry at her father. We see Cha keeping a copy of her mother's latest book with her. Actually, Cha wanted to become a rapper, but Won was sending her abroad to his sister for studies. Here we also learn that to educate Cha, Won was even selling his own house. Then we see Won driving a car, and on the radio there was news that due to heavy fog, an additional alert has been issued. Won was actually going to drop Cha at the airport, and on the way, he stopped at a fuel station to take gas. Here, the station worker, after filling fuel, tells Won, "Your bill is $64. Won gives him his card. The man replies, "The card reader is broken, so give me cash." Hearing this, Won gets suspicious, and then he looks at the man's key ring. There were many keys and 1 master key, by which Won realizes this man is not a gas station worker. Won tells him, "I will give this money to the station owner." Hearing this, the man requests him a lot, but Won leaves. Now in the next scene, we see a girl named Yura at the airport, where her sister Myran was with her. Yura is a golf player. She was going for an international tournament, but because of Myran, she missed her flight today. Myran didn't even check the passport, and when they reached the airport, they found out Yura's passport had already expired. Then Myran says, "We will arrange a backup passport tomorrow and catch the morning flight." Right then, an old woman comes there who recognizes Yura. The 2 sisters thought she might be a fan of Yura, but the old woman tells them, "I think you are my relative." The 2 sisters become embarrassed. Then an old gentleman arrives. He apologizes to the 2 sisters. He explains that his wife actually has amnesia. She often forgets everything. Saying this, he takes his wife away. Now we see that old couple riding a bus, and the 2 sisters driving their own car leaving the airport. On their way, they were crossing a bridge, but due to fog, nothing was visible ahead. Everyone was having a hard time driving, but then a crazy streamer ignoring all warnings was driving very fast. Losing focus in excitement, he made an accident. His car crashed, and immediately one after another cars collided on the foggy bridge, blocking the entire road. On the other side, Won and his daughter were also going toward the airport in their car, and they were on the opposite lane of that bridge. Suddenly, some military vehicles passed by them. Inside those vehicles were some dogs. We also see a doctor sitting in those vehicles, and at the gas station, we again see the man who had asked Won for cash. The gas station owner was scolding him a lot, and we learn his name is actually Joe. He is a truck driver. At that time, the radio broadcasts the news of the bridge accident. Hearing this, Joe, to collect his $64, takes his dog Jody and heads toward the bridge. He assumed Won must be stuck there because of the accident. And yes, on the bridge, the army vehicle in front of Won overturned in the accident. Because of that, Won gets stuck on the bridge. He immediately informs his boss about it, and his daughter tells him, "Father, the vehicle is overturned. The people inside must be injured. We should go help right away." Hearing this, Won tells his daughter to stay in the car, but he himself goes forward to help them. He sees that in the accident the doctor is badly injured. This man's name is Dr. Young, and the soldiers there tell Won, "Please take care of Dr. Young for a while." Saying this, the soldiers go to check the vehicle. There they see that the cage in the car is broken and all the dogs inside have escaped. Seeing this, they both become very worried and immediately inform their team. Now, Won seats the doctor in his own car and notices that his daughter is not there. And right then we see that on the bridge, a dog was repeatedly poking its head. Won's daughter sees this and becomes quite concerned. She even gives the dog some biscuits to eat. She sees on the dog's collar that its name was In9. So Cha was going near that dog when Won arrives there and stops his daughter. Seeing all this, the dog runs away. On the other side, the rest of the dogs were roaming here and there, and one dog comes near Myran, which makes her extremely frightened. Anyway, the soldiers come to the doctor and inform him that the X's have gotten out of the cage. Here let me tell you that by X's they meant these dogs. The soldiers inform that they have received orders to activate the control program. So now the doctor starts running a program from his laptop. But then Won arrives there and asks them, "What are you actually doing?" In reply, the soldiers ask, "Who are you?" He shows them his ID card and says, "I am from the Blue House Security Department." He asks them, "Why have you blocked the mobile network?" In reply, the soldiers say this is an emergency situation. But Won naturally does not believe them. Because of this, the soldiers are forced to handcuff him. Here the doctor tells Won and his daughter, "Please do not disturb us because if we cannot bring the situation under control, we will all die. And you two are safe with me, so don't worry." Then the doctor sends a voice recording and all the soldiers get ready. As soon as the doctor plays the recording, the dogs start moving toward their locked target, that is the cage. Basically, this recording was used to find the dogs and bring them to a specific target. All the dogs aggressively start returning to the cage, and the soldiers keep putting them inside with electric shocks. Now the doctor sees on his laptop that all the dogs have gone toward the target, but a female dog named Anine is not moving from her place. The doctor says, "Since all the other dogs have gone inside, I am shutting down the program." So we see that as soon as he does this, all the dogs immediately become calm. And by then, a military chopper also arrives there, and they get ready to take away those 8 dogs. They all decide that they will come later again to take Anine. After that, Won is released and he stops the doctor and again asks what is really happening here. The doctor tells Won that you should ask your boss about the Silence Project. Meanwhile, Joe also arrives there with his truck and his dog runs toward that transfer container. When Joe wants to take back his dog, the soldiers stop him. Anyway, right then Cha again goes there and picks up that dog named Jody. Anyway, here we see a chip lying on the ground which was attached to a dog's body. That means the location the doctor was seeing for Anine on his laptop was actually that chip's location, not the dog's. We understand that when the dog was poking its head on the bridge, it was actually pulling out this chip from its head. Anyway, meanwhile, the cage is lifted up by the chopper, and we see that Anine was on top of the cage. Yes, friends, she suddenly attacks all the soldiers inside the chopper, and in this chaos, the cage falls down. Even the chopper gets stuck in the bridge cables. Seeing so much commotion, the doctor becomes extremely nervous, and he says, "I am trying to control the dogs." Saying this, he turns on his laptop and sees that 16 targets were locked. That means all the people on the bridge were now the targets of these dogs. The dogs now go out of control and break the cage and quickly start attacking people. Everywhere people start running. And right then, one dog attacks the doctor. As a result, the doctor's laptop falls down. Won with his daughter starts escaping from there, and Joe and the doctor also run after them. Then Won with his daughter and the doctor sits in his own car and tries to get out from there. Right then, Cha sees Joe and tells Won to stop the car. Won doesn't listen to her, but Cha presses the brake and Joe runs toward the car, and at that moment, a dog chases him. But at the very last moment, Won opens the trunk and Joe gets inside. And on the bridge, the rest of the people start entering a bus. And this was the same bus in which the old couple was going. So, the two sisters also go inside this bus with everyone. Anyway, meanwhile, Won was driving the car. And right then, some burning parts of the chopper stuck in the cable fall down and block their road. The front part of their car was almost broken, and the car also hits the divider. On the other side, at the security headquarters, we see Ji-hoon, who takes reports of the whole incident and gives a statement to the press. He assures the country and the nation that at any cost, we will rescue everyone trapped there. Anyway, now we return to Won. He tries to communicate outside using the doctor's walkie-talkie. Right then, a dog with a mask on its face attacks their car and tries to break the front glass. But failing to break it, the dog leaves on its own. After that, Juan tells Joe to bring the doctor back to consciousness. Finally, when the doctor regains consciousness, he tells them that he breeds rescue dogs so that the dogs can respond to human voice, meaning they can follow commands better. The army forced him so that he would reprogram these dogs for hunting. He further says that from Europe and America, they were asked to make killer dogs to catch terrorists. And these dogs were trained in such a way that they could lock onto a target by hearing sounds and attack them. But due to some serious issues, this project was canceled and these dogs were failed samples. And today, they were taking these dogs to be killed. Hearing all this, Juan sends a message on the walkie-talkie once more, and this time his boss replies. Juan reports the whole situation at the scene and asks him to send people here quickly for help. Jan tells him, "Don't worry, the rescue team has set out." Here Juan also learns that people from the government itself had approved this project. Anyway, right then, a terrible explosion occurs. And on the other side, the surviving passengers on the bus see Juan's car and come forward to help. They keep signaling Juan and the others with the horn. Because of the explosion, a kind of toxic gas had leaked everywhere. So, they all hold their breath and move toward the bus. Here on the walkie-talkie, Juan again tells Ji-hoon that a rescue team will not work here. A SWAT team is needed, and when they come first, the dogs must be neutralized. Then the people must be saved. He also says there is no need to tell ordinary people anything about these hybrid dogs. They will only be told that these were some mad dogs. Saying all this, Juan quickly gets on the bus. But right then the chopper falls down, and there is another big explosion. As a result, the bridge cables start to snap, which causes the bridge to break completely from the middle. The bus starts falling rapidly backward, but somehow everyone on the bus survives this time. After everything calms down, Juan informs the bus passengers that he is from the security department and that the rescue team will arrive here soon. So, as per the plan, he does not reveal the dog's true identity to the public. Then Joe comes forward in front of everyone and questions Juan's identity. After that, Juan takes him to the back seat of the bus and asks, "What do you want?" Joe says, "I want my $64. In reply, Juan tells him, "If you cooperate with me, you will get much more money than that, and also a government medal." Hearing this, Joe quietly sits in his seat. There he sees a bottle of expensive liquor and keeps it for himself. On the other side, by then, SWAT team lands on the bridge and starts searching for the dogs. The people on the bus see that SWAT team and feel a bit relieved. Then we see that all the dogs were in front of the bus. Seeing the SWAT team, they ran away somewhere. The members of that SWAT team, while searching for the dogs, reach the door of the bus, but they do not see any dog. Juan asks the soldiers about the dogs, to which they say, "We have searched everywhere. We did not find the dogs anywhere. Maybe they escaped." Juan still could not fully believe it, but Ji-hoon convinces him through the walkie-talkie that with these soldiers, all of you are safe. So they all start getting off the bus. But the doctor tells Juan, "I will not get off." He says that these dogs never abandon their targets. Rather, they hide and attack at the right opportunity. Anyway, Juan does not listen to the doctor at all and forces him to get off the bus. The doctor keeps shouting again and again and says we will all die. But everyone slowly advances, relying on the armed commandos. And just then, the doctor's eyes fall on a dog that was secretly following them. The doctor becomes extremely scared and bumps into a car, which triggers the car's alarm. Joe quickly turns off the alarm, and the doctor tells him, "If my laptop could be found, then I could track the dogs." But before he can finish the sentence, suddenly, the dogs start attacking from all sides. The dogs kill all the soldiers within moments. And in this chaos, Moran gets hit by a bullet, and one dog bites that old woman. Not only that, the dogs also attack Juan and his daughter, but they survive this time. The two of them hide in the luggage compartment under the bus. Some blood was coming out from Juan's body, which makes his daughter extremely worried. At this moment, Juan notices that his walkie-talkie has fallen somewhere, and to bring it back, he must go again. Cha forbids him, but Juan has to go. So, Juan slowly and carefully goes to get the walkie-talkie. He picks up the walkie-talkie and then picks up Cha's bag. After that, from those dead soldiers, he also picks up some bullets, a gun, and a lighter. On the other side, Cha was watching a video on her phone. And in this video, we learn that her mother actually had cancer, and she had also written a book, of which Juan himself bought 350 copies. Meaning, perhaps that book wasn't very good, or wasn't selling. So, to give a false hope that the book had sold, Juan did this. Anyway, right then from behind, the doctor tells Cha that I am going up to the bus. Hearing this, Cha is startled because she thought she was alone here. On the other side, Won sees Jo, the two sisters, and that old couple hiding. Jo tells Won that I have told all of them the truth, that these are not some mad dogs, but experimentally created trained hybrid dogs. Then Won is forced to apologize to everyone. Now we see that in front of the bus, all the dogs were roaming. Inside the bus, the doctor tells Cha that the dog you see ahead is E9, that is Enine, and all the other dogs here are E9's offspring. Now the scene goes to the past, and we see that in a lab, a chip is being attached to E9's body. The doctor says that to make Enine ferocious, they brutally killed many of E9's puppies right in front of her. So, now what E9 is doing is not just hunting, but taking revenge for the murder of her puppies. Anyway, now Won and the others make torches and light them, using that leaked petrol. And Won lights a flare to inform the security team of his position. Then he contacts Hyun and tells him that I am advancing towards Seoul with all the surviving passengers. Hyun tells him that toxic gas has leaked there, so you all proceed toward the broken bridge where the SWAT team will be waiting for you. Won agrees and says, then I will bring everyone there by bus, but keep the snipers ready so the dogs can be shot. Hyun says if snipers are used, the press will learn the real truth. In reply, Won says that everyone here has already learned the truth anyway, so the truth will come out no matter what. Now, back to Cha. She sees everyone coming and goes to open the bus door, but the doctor stops her because the doctor did not want to risk his life for the others. Outside, the dogs have surrounded everyone, but Jo takes out that stolen liquor bottle and throws fire to drive those dogs away. Won fires a flare, which blinds the doctor for a moment, and taking this chance, Cha quickly opens the door. In this way, somehow everyone safely gets inside the bus. Jo becomes extremely angry at the doctor and even goes to beat him, and right then Yura notices that there was actually no key inside the bus. That means this bus cannot be started. Hearing this, everyone becomes extremely disappointed. But right then Won says that Jo had many keys. Among them, there is a master key, so he can start and drive the bus. Yes, Jo tries and the bus does start. Then he starts backing the bus. On the other side at headquarters, Hyun's boss tells him that if you send snipers and the trapped people there survive, then your becoming president will become impossible, because the public will know that we train dogs to kill people. It would be better to wait a little, because this broken bridge will collapse on its own. And when they all die, we will express condolence, calling it a tragic accident. We will provide financial aid to their families. This will show your humane side, and no one will learn about our secret Project Silence. On the other side, the bus stops a little away from the broken bridge. Won repeatedly tries to contact Yeon on the radio, but no sound comes from the other side. Now the bus starts slipping, and everyone becomes extremely afraid. Here Won angrily tells the doctor that all this happened because of you, but there was nothing else to do. So, Won, risking his life, says that I will lure the dogs to the other side, and meanwhile, you all will go out through the rear window and reach the broken bridge. But Won's daughter keeps forbidding him to do this. She says, better we set a trap, Dad. We will all go into the bus trunk and lure the dogs inside the bus and lock them in. So, said so done. Everyone goes into the luggage area and opens the bus door. As a result, one by one all the dogs enter the bus, and Jo pulls the string tied to the keys and closes the door. But in the meantime, that old woman who had been injured by the dog attack dies here from severe bleeding, and seeing this, her husband and the others start crying uncontrollably. Anyway, at least the dogs were trapped, and now everyone starts getting out of the bus. Right then, that old gentleman says, I will stay here because the dogs were already trying to push and open the luggage compartment door. But the old man holds the door tightly. Won feels tremendous pain. He just couldn't leave that man alone. But before the dogs could come out, Jo pulls Won outside, and that gentleman closes the compartment door. In other words, he sacrificed himself to save everyone. In fact, after losing his wife, he had lost the very purpose of living. Seeing all this, Won goes into complete shock. But Jo brings him back to reality. He tells him, if the dogs get out, we will all die. Even your daughter will not survive. We must escape from here quickly. Yes, then everyone quickly reaches that broken bridge. But unfortunately, there was no one there because Hyun had not sent any snipers to save them. Seeing this, they all become very scared. Right then, the doctor comes to Won and tells him the Hyun on whose word you came here. That very Hyun started Project Silence. Yes, friends, Hyun had approved this project because of which he got a place in the Blue House. Hearing this, Won also understands what politics is actually going on here. He asks Hyun on the radio, "Did you then approve this project, and did you deliberately hold back the rescue team?" On the other side, Hyun was listening to everything, but he does not answer. Because of this, Won becomes very emotional, and right then, his eyes fall on that vehicle in which the dogs had been brought. Even so, he tells Hyun that we are all taking the bus towards Seoul. This is very dangerous because the bridge can collapse at any time. Moreover, toxic gas has spread here. And there next to it was Joe's truck. Won tells Joe, "You start the truck," to which Joe says my keys are left inside the bus. The doctor says my laptop is also lying somewhere here. If I get the laptop, then I can control the dogs. I can track them. I can understand where the dogs are. So everyone starts looking for the laptop, and finally they find it. Yes, the doctor turns on the laptop and Won makes a plan. He will lure the dogs to one side and take the keys. And then Joe will use his truck to tow the military vehicle across the fire on the road. So basically Won was acting as bait. So yes, the laptop is turned on and Won goes toward the cage, which tells him that, "I don't want to go abroad, father. I want to stay with you now." Won listens to his daughter and then asks her for his wife's last book, because in front of the dogs he must read something, as through his voice those dogs can be controlled. The doctor can use his voice as a command. So Cha tells him, "Father, this is my mother's last copy of the book. You must come back with it." Then Won closes the cage. And on the other side, Yura climbs onto a car with a golf ball ready to break the bus window. Miran, crying, apologizes to her and says it is because of my mistake that we are stuck here. Right then, Yura tells her that I knew from the beginning that my passport had expired, but I didn't say anything because I was afraid to take part in the tournament. Miran gives her another golf stick and says, "For this distance, this stick will be better." Here we understand how supportive Miran actually is for Yura and how much she cares about little things. Anyway, Joe was hiding under the bus. That means the plan was fully ready. Everyone was in their place. So the doctor tells everyone on the radio that from now only Won will speak and the rest will remain silent. The doctor starts the program and Won loudly starts reading the book written by his wife. All the dogs focus on his voice, and Cha with a flashlight points to the target at which Yura starts hitting shots. Because of the shaking bridge, some of her shots miss, but then she tells Miran to throw the ball and she hits it in the air. Now, the dogs break the back window of the bus and surround the military vehicle. And with some shots, the car windows also break, and Joe quickly takes out his key. His eyes fall on Anine, who was staring right at him. Joe runs, and everyone gets into his truck. Anine attacks them, and right then, the bridge starts collapsing, and the military vehicle begins falling down. Seeing this, Anine runs toward the vehicle, which was stuck right at the edge. Everyone starts the truck and comes back for Won. But on the radio, Won tells them not to come back for him. He tells Cha, "Don't worry about me, dear. You all leave from here." But Cha doesn't listen to anything. She takes a hook from the truck and moves toward the vehicle. Near the car, E9 was trying to save a dog, which had fallen into the river, and A9 also jumps after it. The car now was hanging on the very edge, but at the last moment, Cha hooks it and comes inside. She shouts to Joe to drive the truck, and somehow he pulls up the vehicle and they move forward again. Joe drives quickly through the toxic gas, and before getting out of that area, at one place the bridge was broken, because of which the vehicle gets separated from the truck after a bump. But because the speed was very high, the vehicle crosses the gas and comes out. Finally, everyone gets into the truck and heads towards Seoul. At last, they see the press police and doctors. Hyun was also there. Won, seeing him, punches him and gives all the evidence to the press. Hyun tells Won to think about his daughter's future. In reply, Won says my daughter doesn't need to be sent anywhere else. She will stay with me. Won throws away the money Hyun had given him. And right then, the doctor comes there and offers his laptop to the journalists as proof of Project Silence. Cha was very happy here because now she would stay with her father. So, yes, in the end, Hyun is now completely exposed and he can never become president. And everyone will now know about this unethical project. Since many of the people on the bridge survived all in all, it can be said it turned into a happy ending. And yes, in the final scene, we see Anine on the riverbank saving a dog and the movie ends here. So, friends, this was the story of Project Silence.